Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever felt like your own mind is literally working against your goals, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're not just throwing around basic morning habits or, cute productivity hacks. No, we are talking about initiating a complete mental operating system upgrade. We're going to break down some absolutely fascinating concepts from our source material that will completely change how you view your routines, your self-doubt, and really, your ultimate potential. If you've been looking to smash through that invisible ceiling, well, this is where we start doing the heavy lifting.
Let me ask you a quick question, and I want you to be totally honest with yourself here. Do you ever feel like a corporate laborer? You know the exact feeling I'm talking about, right? You're putting in the hours, you're grinding, pushing yourself to the absolute limit day after day, sacrificing your evenings, your weekends, the whole shebang. But then you look around at the end of the month, or maybe the end of the year, and realize, man, I am stuck in the exact same place. The promotion isn't happening, the business isn't growing, those fitness goals are just a mirage. It's incredibly frustrating. It's literally like running on a treadmill at max speed, but going absolutely nowhere.
Okay, let's dive into this. Picture this scenario. It's 1:37 in the morning, your body is just completely exhausted, totally drained from a massively long day of putting out fires. You just want to sleep, but your mind? Oh, your mind is running an absolute marathon. It's racing with all these worries, playing this high-definition highlight reel of every single mistake you've ever made. It's projecting a million terrifying what-ifs about tomorrow. It's a full-blown midnight panic. And look, we've all been there, staring at the ceiling, wondering why we can't just flip a switch and turn our brains off. But that middle-of-the-night anxiety, it isn't just annoying. It's actually a massive red flag signaling that something deep inside your foundational setup is fundamentally misaligned.
So that brings us to Section 1, the mental software virus, and why your system is crashing. It is so absolutely crucial to realize that if that 1:37 a.m. feeling sounds familiar, your stagnation is not because you lack talent.
It's not because you have bad luck, and it's definitely not because you aren't working hard enough. It's simply because your mental software is corrupted. Think of your brain like the world's most powerful, state-of-the-art supercomputer. You've got the hardware to achieve literally anything you want, the intellect, the capacity to learn, the energy. But here's the catch. If your software is bogged down with heavy viruses, thoughts like, I can't do this, I'm just not lucky, or it's too hard, well, that incredible computer is going to crash every single time. Honestly, it doesn't matter how fast your processor is if the code telling it what to do is fundamentally broken. When the underlying programming is infected with negativity, the output will always be failure, no matter how much elbow grease you put in.
Let's figure out how to actually fix that. In Section 2, the self-management sequence, decoding the code. Because to really upgrade your software, you need to understand exactly why your past attempts at change have failed. Like, why does brute forcing your behavior almost always fail in the long run?
Well, usually we try to change our behavior right out of the gate. And this brilliantly illustrates why that doesn't work, because behavior is actually step 5 in a very specific psychological chain reaction. Imagine miserably dragging yourself out of bed at 5 a.m. to go to the gym through sheer willpower. It works for a few days, right? But then you inevitably quit. Why? Because behavior is just the tail end of a massive sequence. It actually all starts with your programming, the things you were told and just sort of absorbed early on. Now, your programming creates your beliefs. Those beliefs dictate your attitudes toward life. Your attitudes trigger your feelings. And only then do those feelings result in your behavior, which ultimately dictates your results. It's a strict domino effect. If you want a different outcome, you can't just change the behavior. You're just fighting a losing battle against your own mind. You literally have to go all the way back to step 1. You have to change the foundational programming.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, upgrading your self-talk, deleting the corrupt code. Because if you want to rewrite this corrupted software over the next 21 days, you absolutely have to focus entirely on your self-talk.
See, self-talk is the primary coding language of your brain. And there's a pretty stark contrast in how we process information and speak to ourselves. Most of us, honestly, live our daily lives stuck in level 1, negative acceptance. We unconsciously accept limitations as hard facts. For example, if someone suggests you could make, say, 5 crore in 5 years, or run a full marathon, your brain instantly fires off a level 1 virus. Impossible. My salary is only $40,000. Or, no way, I have terrible knees. To clean out that virus, you have to actively force your mind into level 4, the better you. You stop using weak language like, I'll try to be healthy, and you begin declaring as an absolute fact, I am the type of person who takes care of my body and eats only what is good for me. You're claiming the identity way before the results actually show up. That conscious shift in your internal dialogue, that is exactly what a true software upgrade looks like.
So how do we systematically make that shift? Let's get into Section 4, the 21-Day Blueprint Reprogramming Protocol. We are moving from the theory of mental software right into highly actionable execution. Here's exactly how we build this into our daily routine. There are 3 non-negotiable habits required for this framework to actually take hold. First up, silence. You need to actively notice those level 1 negative thoughts, what the source material wonderfully calls mental loose motions. When they pop up, you don't engage with them. You just stop them dead in their tracks with absolute silence. Second, self-write. Grab a pen and paper. Write down exactly who you want to become, but, and this is key, you must write it in the present tense, as if you're already that person living that life today. It makes the goal immediate and real to your brain. And the third and honestly most crucial habit is recorded self-talk.
Now, I really want to pause on this third habit for a second, because the source highlights this as the ultimate secret weapon that completely changed the original author's life. Recorded self-talk means physically recording your own voice reading those positive, present-tense declarations you just wrote down. Then you listen to that audio of yourself for at least 15 minutes every single morning for the full 21 days. Now, you might be wondering, why does it have to be my own voice? Well, psychologically, the one voice your brain is hardwired to trust above all others, above your parents, your friends, your mentors, is yours. Hearing your own voice declare these new truths fundamentally bypasses your defensive filters and directly rewrites your mental hard drive. It is, hands down, the most efficient way to install the new code.
Moving on to Section 5, the compound effect, the king in the jungle. It's really important to ground our expectations here, folks. Rewriting your brain's code isn't some instant magic trick. It's a steady reality of personal transformation.
Think about the story of the king in the jungle. A powerful king was exiled to the scary, barren, completely overgrown wasteland. I mean, he had absolutely nothing but the clothes on his back. But instead of giving up, throwing a tantrum, or just crying about his bad luck, he used his inherent power. Slowly, day by day, he cleared the brush. He chopped down the dead trees. He carefully laid down stones for roads. It was tedious, totally unglamorous work. But over time, through relentless consistency, he built a thriving, magnificent city out of that wild jungle. Your mind is that overgrown jungle right now. It's full of tangled anxieties and deeply rooted doubts. But remember, you are the king. You have the sovereign power to clear it out.
So, the crucial point is this. Please, do not try to change everything overnight. If you try to chop down the entire jungle in one afternoon, you'll just end up with blistered hands and utter exhaustion. And that just leads straight to burnout. Your goal is simply to be 1% better every day. Just 1%. That's a tiny, super manageable increment. If you harness that tiny daily improvement over 21 days, the compound effect kicks in. The progress starts to stack on top of itself exponentially, and before you know it, you'll look up and find yourself operating as a completely different person with a totally upgraded operating system. As you embark on this 21-day journey, remember there are some great tools out there to help keep feeding your brain that positive programming. If you want to dive deeper into lessons like this without spending hours reading thick books, the source material actually suggests checking out the Summary Board. It's a fantastic animated web series that distills the world's best self-help books into bite-sized, highly visual formats. Surrounding yourself with this kind of condensed, high-quality knowledge is just a really great way to maintain that 1% daily growth and keep your new software running smoothly.
Well, we've reached the end of the explainer, and the ball is officially in your court. Are you ready to delete the viruses that have been holding you back? Don't just sit there and nod your head. Make your first quality decision right now. A totally non-negotiable commitment to your future self. Drop a comment below that simply says, I accept. Take control of your mental supercomputer, start your 21 days, and let's see what you can build. Because honestly, if you don't program your own mind, who's programming it for you?